Parts of speech. Adverbs. Adverbs are words that modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. By far, the most common use of adverbs is to modify verbs, so we will deal with them first. Adverbs that modify verbs. Here are some examples of adverbs in italics that modify verbs in bold. They parked the truck yesterday. They loaded the truck there. They drove the truck carefully. They used the truck frequently. Adverbs that modify verbs have several characteristics that make them relatively easy to identify. They answer adverb questions and they are movable. The adverb question test. If a word answers an adverb question, when, where, how, why, how often, etc., then the word is an adverb that modifies the verb. Here is the adverb question test applied to the example sentences. Adverb question words in bold. Adverb question. When did they park the truck? Answer, yesterday. Yesterday is an adverb that modifies the verb. Adverb question. Where did they load the truck? Answer, there. There is an adverb that modifies the verb. Adverb question. How did they drive the truck? Answer, carefully. Carefully is an adverb that modifies the verb. Adverb question. How often do they use the truck? Answer, frequently. Frequently is an adverb that modifies the verb. The adverb movement test. If a word can be moved to a different position in the sentence, then the word is an adverb that modifies the verb. Here's the adverb movement test applied to the same example sentences. Adverbs in italics. Original. They parked the truck yesterday. Adverb moved. Yesterday they parked the truck. Original. They loaded the truck there. Adverb moved. There they loaded the truck. Original. They drove the truck carefully. Adverb moved 1. Carefully they drove the truck. Adverb moved 2. They carefully drove the truck. Original. They used the truck frequently. Adverb moved 1. Frequently they used the truck. Adverb moved 2. They frequently used the truck. As you can see, adverbs that modify the verb can usually be moved to the beginning of the sentence. Sometimes, depending on the particular adverb, they can be moved in front of the verb. Adverbs that modify adjectives. Here are some examples of adverbs in italics that modify adjectives in bold. A completely false statement. Some rather unusual ideas. A terribly hot afternoon. Adverbs that modify adjectives are immobile. They cannot be moved away from the adjective they modify. There is no simple, direct test for adverbs that modify adjectives, but there is a reliable negative test, the pair test for modifying adjectives. Because adverbs can never modify nouns, a modifying word that fills the pair test must be an adverb modifying an adjective. Here is the pair test used to identify adverbs that modify adjectives. A completely false statement. A statement. Completely statement. Completely fails, therefore it is an adverb modifying false. False statement. Some rather unusual ideas. Some ideas. Rather ideas. Rather fails, therefore it is an adverb modifying unusual. Unusual ideas. A terribly hot afternoon. An afternoon. We need to change a to an because the following word now begins with a vowel. Terribly afternoon. Terribly fails, therefore it is an adverb modifying hot. Hot afternoon. Adverbs that modify other adverbs. Here are some examples of adverbs in italics that modify other adverbs in bold. I always answer my calls very promptly. The students answered the questions quite easily. Harvard fought rather fiercely. I did even worse on the test than I had expected. Adverbs that modify other adverbs are easy to recognize. They are locked into place immediately in front of the adverbs they modify. Adverbs that modify other adverbs belong to a limited class of words that are sometimes called intensifiers. They emphasize the meaning of the adverb they modify. Pronouns. Pronouns are divided into 4 subclasses: personal, reflexive, indefinite, and demonstrative. Personal pronouns. The conventional definition of pronoun is a word used in place of one or more nouns. This definition captures the single most important use of pronouns, namely, to replace or represent a noun or nouns. Here is a simple example of pronouns replacing single nouns. Tarzan wondered where Jane was. He wondered where she was. The pronoun he stands for or replaces Tarzan, and ditto for she and Jane. Here is an example where one pronoun replaces 2 nouns. Tarzan and Jane were having a romantic dinner together. They were having a romantic dinner together. In this case, the pronoun they stands for or replaces 2 nouns, Tarzan and Jane. The pronouns that literally replace specific nouns are called third-person pronouns. There are several third-person pronouns depending on the number, gender, and grammatical function of the nouns that are being replaced. For example, whether they replace nouns being used as subjects, objects, or possessives. There is a complete list. Third-person pronouns. Grammatical function. Singular, plural. Grammatical function, subject, singular, he, she, it, plural, they. Grammatical function, object, singular, him, her, it, plural, them. Grammatical function, possessive, singular, his, hers, its, plural, theirs. The subject and object forms are obvious, but the possessive is tricky because we need to distinguish between possessives being used as pronouns from similar possessives being used as adjectives. An example will show the difference. Possessive pronoun. The book is Jane's book. The book is hers. In the first example, hers stands for the noun book. Together, the possessive noun Jane's, which is being used as an adjective to modify the noun book. Possessive adjective. That is Jane's book. That is her book. In this second example, both the possessive noun Jane's and the possessive pronoun her, which replaces Jane's, are used as adjectives to modify the noun book, but they are not used to replace or represent the noun book, so they are not pronouns. They are adjectives. The distinction between the possessive pronoun hers and the possessive adjective her is a little easier to see in this pair of examples because they have different forms. Hers, with the S, is a pronoun. Her, without the S, is an adjective. The same distinction holds for theirs, pronoun, and their, adjective. But unfortunately, the pronoun and adjective forms of his and its are identical, so good luck with these two. Third-person pronouns belong to a larger family of pronouns called personal pronouns. There are 2 other members of personal pronoun family, first-person pronouns and second-person pronouns. First and second-person pronouns do not literally replace specific nouns the way that third-person pronouns do. First-person pronouns represent the speaker or writer of the sentence. Second-person pronouns represent the hearer or reader of the sentence. Here is an example. I see you. Grammar trivia, Viking pronouns. The words they, them, and their differ from other personal pronouns such as I and we. The th pronouns come from a different language. Old Norse, the language of the Vikings who settled in the north of England. All other personal pronouns we use now are native English words. I, the speaker and writer, is a first-person pronoun. You, the hearer, reader, is a second-person pronoun. Here is the complete set of first and second person pronouns. First person pronouns. Grammatical function, singular, plural. Grammatical function, subject, singular, I, plural, we. Grammatical function, object, singular, me, plural, us. Grammatical function, possessive, singular, mine, plural, ours. Second person pronouns. Grammatical function, singular, plural. Grammatical function, subject, singular, you, plural, you. Grammatical function, object, singular, you, plural, you. Grammatical function, possessive, singular, yours, plural, yours. Reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are a unique and easily recognizable group of pronouns that end in self or selves. Here is the complete list. Person, singular, plural. Person, first person, singular, myself, plural, ourselves. Person, second person, singular, yourself, plural, yourselves. Person, third person, singular, himself, plural, themselves. Person, third person, singular, herself, plural, themselves. Person, third person, singular, itself, plural, themselves. Reflexive pronouns must refer back to a specific noun, usually but not always the subject, in the same sentence. This noun is called the antecedent of the reflexive pronoun. The term reflexive comes from a Latin word meaning bend back. The origin of the term may help you to remember that a reflexive pronoun must be bend back to refer to its antecedent. For example, in the following sentence, the queen saw herself in the mirror. The reflexive pronoun herself can only refer back to its antecedent, queen. Reflexive pronouns must have an antecedent in the same sentence. A common mistake is to use a reflexive pronoun as a way of avoiding the choice between a subject and object pronoun. For example, Snow White smiled at the dwarves and myself. In this sentence, the writer was not sure whether to use I or me. The writer thought to duck the choice by using the reflexive myself. This is a mistake because there is no antecedent for myself. If the writer had stuck with I and me, the writer would have a 50-50 chance of being right. But the reflexive without an antecedent is wrong 100% of the time. Here's the reflexive myself used correctly with an antecedent. I smiled at myself. The antecedent of myself is the subject pronoun I. Indefinite pronouns. A large number of pronouns refer to unspecified persons, things, or groups. Here are some common indefinite pronouns: all, another, both, each, either, few, many, more, most, much, neither, none, one, other, several, some, such. Here's an example of a sentence with two indefinite pronouns. Many are called, but few are chosen. It is easy to confuse indefinite pronouns with the same words used as adjectives. Remember, indefinite pronouns stand alone. Adjectives modify nouns. Here is an example that illustrates the difference. Indefinite pronoun. Popeye would like some. The pronoun some stands alone. Modifying adjective. Popeye would like some spinach. The adjective some modifies spinach. Another group of indefinite pronouns is made up of compounds of any, every, no, and some followed by body, one, and thing. Body, one, thing. Any, every, no, some. Any, body. Any, one. Any, thing. Every body. Every one. Everything. No body. No one. nothing. Somebody, someone, something. Demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns are a group of 4 pronouns. This, that, these, and those. As with indefinite pronouns, these same words are often used as modifying adjectives. Again, the difference is that pronouns stand alone. Adjectives modify nouns. Demonstrative pronoun. Popeye would like that. The pronoun that stands alone. Modifying adjective. Popeye would like that spinach. The adjective that modifies spinach. Conjunctions. Conjunctions are words used to join or conjoin, conjunction, get it? Words are groups of words. There are 2 fundamentally different types of conjunctions: coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are words like and, but, and, or that join words or groups of words of equal status. Subordinating conjunctions join groups of words of unequal status. We will deal with subordinating conjunctions in Chapter 3 when we see how dependent clauses are built. For now, we will deal only with coordinating conjunctions. There are 7 single word conjunctions. A helpful acronym for remembering them is fanboys: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Here are some examples using coordinating conjunctions to join single words. The joined words are underlined. Tarzan loves coconuts and bananas. Jane wanted coconuts or bananas. Tarzan's parents were poor but honest. Here are examples using the remaining coordinating conjunctions to join groups of words. The joined groups of words are underlined. Jane and Tarzan are in love, yet they still can't agree on their china pattern. It was my turn to cook, so we had something simple. We turned back, for it was getting dark. I didn't want to leave, nor did anybody else. There is a subgroup of coordinating conjunctions called correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions are 2-part conjunctions. For example, both, and, either, or, neither, nor, not only, but also. Here are some examples. They had both cake and pie for dessert. I had to either exercise more or eat less. Not only was it a stupid movie, but it also lasted 3 hours. Prepositions. Prepositions are little words such as by, to, with, about, over, etc. They are used to make prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases consist of a preposition plus its object, which can be either a noun, with or without adjective modifiers, or a pronoun. Here are some examples of prepositional phrases, prepositions in italics, objects in bold. In the morning, under the bridge, by Shakespeare, to them. Prepositions are part of a package deal. They are always bound together with their objects to form prepositional phrases. It is impossible to identify prepositions at the single word, part of speech level in isolation from the rest of their package. Accordingly, we will postpone any further discussion of prepositional phrases until Chapter 2, where we will look at phrases in general and prepositional phrases in particular.